Hey everybody, this is Crystal Carver, and I'm doing my case presentation over Katherine Johnson, who was called the human computer. And this is a quote that came from her. She said that math, it's just there. You're either right or you're wrong. That's what I like about it. Okay, so she was born in 1918 in Sulphur Springs, West Virginia on August 26th. Her mother was named Joylette. Her father was Joshua Coleman. Mother was a teacher. Father was a lumberman. He actually owned a farm. So in 1929, she began high school on the campus of West Virginia State College at the age of 10. The school she'd been going to up until she was that age only allowed children to go until 8th grade, and that was the school where the black children were attending. So her family, knowing how smart she was and what she was capable of doing, actually moved so she could attend high school on the West Virginia College campus. And she actually graduated from high school at the age of 14, and she entered West Virginia State University in 1937 and graduated at the age of 18, when most of us would just be beginning college. In 1939, she was one of the few African Americans, and I think the only woman that was selected to enroll at West Virginia University in their graduate program. She didn't finish her graduate degree, however. I think she dropped out to focus on her family and being a teacher. Now, this is a video where she talks about her family and her lineage, and she actually has a grandfather, or maybe it was great-grandfather, who was a full-blooded Indian, but she's not sure of the tribe. And one of her great-grandparents was actually white. Now, I'm not going to show this to you because it made my presentation way too long, and so I'm having to re-record it. And there's a part 2 where she's still talking about her family, and I'll let you watch that at your leisure. Well, let me back up one. Okay, 1939, she married a gentleman named James Goebel. They had 3 children. One of them was named after her mother, Joylette. She also had a daughter named Constance, and they named one of the daughters Katherine. In 1953, she had a relative to tell her about positions that were opening at NASA for people who were really good at math, and of course she was one of those people. So she applied, and she was one of the women who got positions in a special area of NASA where they were actually doing mathematical computations and figuring out the trajectory of where the rockets would need to go, and basically lots of different stuff that they would have to do in order to get the space program off the ground. Unfortunately, in 1956, her husband, James Goebel, died. But in 1957, she remarried James A. Johnson, who had been a member of the United States Army. In 1960, she co-authored a paper on calculations for placing a spacecraft into orbit. In 1961, she calculated the path for Freedom 7. 1962, this is probably one of the best stories that I found. John Glenn was going to orbit the Earth in a capsule, but he was not really sure of the calculations that the computers had come up with, because by this time computers were doing the calculations, but the ladies were still going back and checking over stuff. So he told the powers that be that if Katherine Johnson rechecked what the computer had done and she got the same thing, that he would go, but only if she rechecked what the computer had done. So evidently that happened, and he orbited the Earth. 1969, she was a member of the team that calculated where and when to launch Apollo 11. And when Apollo 13 ran into difficulties, thanks to her having already plotted backup navigation charts for astronauts in case of electrical failure, those guys were brought back home. All right. She retired from NASA in 1986, and that's when I was actually graduating from high school. In 2015, she was awarded the United States Presidential Medal of Freedom by President Barack Obama, and that's where the picture's from that you're looking at. 2016, NASA named a building after her. And I'm going to show you a short video in just a minute where she reacts to that. It's pretty funny. 2016, a movie was made called Hidden Figures about her life, and some of the other characters actually come from the same area she worked in with NASA. I think it was actually released in January of 2017. So in 2018, she actually celebrated her 100th birthday. There's actually been a doll created in her likeness by Mattel, and it's from their series Inspiring Women, and it actually pays tribute to incredible heroines of their time. So I thought that was pretty neat. Now, there have been lots of books written about her, and the ones that you're looking at from left to right, the two on the left and the one in the middle, were geared towards children, young girls in particular. And the one on the right was the book Hidden Figures that the movie was actually based on. I've got links on each one of these. If you want to click on the books, you can go to Amazon if you are interested in finding out more about them or to purchase them. This is the one that I'm excited about. She's actually written an autobiography. It's going to come out in July of this year, and it's called Reaching for the Moon, which she did. And something, she accomplished a lot of great stuff when she was at NASA. Alright, this is where she's going to discuss how she feels about having a building named after her. So I'm going to play this one. Maybe we're going to play this one. Okay, so it seems to not be cooperating. Let me go back and see if that's going to help. I'm sorry, guys. It worked earlier. Here we go.
You want my honest answer? I think they're crazy. I was excited. It's something new. Always like something new. But give us credit to everybody who helped. I didn't do anything alone but try to go for the root of the question. And succeeded there. Do your best, but like it. Like what you're doing, then you will do your best. If you don't like it, shame on you. Well, now, if they just did the hard work that I did, which was my job, I did it every day. I never missed a day. Never stayed home playing stick and stuff. But my problem was to answer questions. And I did that to the best of my ability at all times, correct or incorrect. But that's my theory. Do your best all the time. I'll be exceedingly honored and greatly honored. But, math is the same. If I gave you that answer last year, it's the same now today. But the main thing is I liked what I was doing. I liked work. I liked the stars and the stories we were telling. And it was a joy to contribute to the literature that was going to be coming out. But little did I think it would go this far.
Right, she's pretty cool. You can probably tell if you watch the other videos that are in the beginning of the presentation that she's getting a lot frailer than she was when this video, before this video was made. So some other interesting facts about her are that I already mentioned she's had 3 daughters. She sang in the choir at Carver Presbyterian Church for 50 years. She was a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha since college. She has 6 grandchildren and 11 great-grandchildren. She lives with her husband in Hampton, Virginia. She's co-authored 26 science papers, and she holds 4 honorary doctoral degrees from various universities. Now I'm going to go back one. This is actually the trailer from the movie Hidden Figures, and I thought it would be interesting for you guys to watch this, so let's take a look.
Equilateral, trapezoid, isosceles, tetrahedron.
I've never seen a mind like the one your daughter has. You have to see what she becomes. Katherine, we all gonna end up unemployed riding around in this pile of junk.
You're welcome to walk the 16 miles.
Or sit in the back of the bus.
You have identification on?
We're just on our way to work at NASA, sir.
I had no idea they hired.
There are quite a few women working in the space program.
You know what we're doing here? We're putting a human on top of a missile, shooting him into space, and it's never been done before. I need a mathematician that can look beyond the numbers. Math that doesn't yet exist. Before the Russians plant a flag on the damn moon.
You have someone?
Running what I'm playing. Catherine's the gal for that. She can handle any numbers you put in front of her.
Don't embarrass me.
This wasn't emptied last night.
I'm sorry, I'm not the... That Colonel Jim is a tall glass of water.
He's coming over.
Now, why would he be doing that?
How's Mary's waving at me?
No! Dorothy, slice of pie?
I love one.
You already have a slice of pie, do it.
You're a computer at NASA. You let women handle that sort of...
Yes, it's an uphill battle.
Yes, they let women do some things at NASA, Mr. Johnson. And it's not because we wear skirts. It's because we wear glasses. We go from being our father's daughters to our husband's wives to our baby's mothers.
You've been gone for 300 hours.
Was Mama gone for 12 and a half days?
No, but it felt like it.
It felt like it to me, too.
It's crunch time. In 14 days, astronauts will be here for training. Everything we do is going to matter to their wives, to their children. I believe it's going to matter to the whole damn country.
My gals are ready. We can do the work. That's John Glenn.
What do you ladies do for NASA?
Calculate your launch and landing, sir. Engineering. And I'm proud as the devil to be working with you. How could you possibly be ogling these white men? It's equal rights. I have the right to see fine in every color.
There's no protocol for women attending.
There's no protocol for a man circling the earth either, sir. Every time we have a chance to get ahead, they move the finish line. Every time.
We all get there together, we don't get there at all.
It's good to know NASA hadn't given up on good old-fashioned brain power.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Let me ask you, if you were a white male, would you wish to be an engineer?
I wouldn't have to. I'd already be one.
Don't you know that we're able?
Okay, so that's the end of my presentation on Katherine Johnson. Guys, just keep in the back of your mind, this was in the 1950s. We still had racial segregation, and they were still segregated even at NASA when they were working at NASA with the positions that they held. Plus, they were women, and women still weren't thought of as highly as men, especially in this type of field. So she broke a lot of barriers. She accomplished a lot of great things. She's had a wonderful life, and I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you.